the Hungry Ghost Festival. In the Mekong Delta, they say the dead walk among us for 1 month each year. But my grandmother taught me something different. She said the ghosts are not the ones who are hungry. Something else comes through the gate when the moon is full. Something that wears the faces of everyone you have ever lost. And it does not want incense. It does not want rice. It wants to sit at your table. It wants to call you by name. And last night, at the edge of the river, I heard my mother's voice for the first time since her funeral. The problem is, my mother died without a tongue. My name is Mai, and I had not returned to my grandmother's village for 7 years. The village was called Kongkat, Sand Island, a small fishing community tucked into a bend of the Mekong, where the river split into fingers and the houses stood on stilts above the brown water. My mother died when I was 19. I left the next morning and never looked back until now. The Hungry Ghost Festival had begun, the 7th lunar month, the month when the gates of hell open and the wandering dead return to earth to feast among the living. At least, that was what the old story said. I returned because my grandmother was dying. That was what the letter said anyway. A single page of rice paper, folded into a triangle, delivered by a cousin I had not seen since childhood. The handwriting was not my grandmother's. She had never learned to write. But the words were hers, spoken to someone who could hold a pen. Come home before the moon is full. Your mother is waiting. My mother was dead, had been dead for 7 years, burned in a boating accident that left nothing but a scorched hull and a single sandal floating downstream. But my grandmother had never lied to me, not once. So I went home. The bus dropped me at the edge of the delta at sunset. The sky was the color of a bruise, purple and yellow and red, bleeding into the black water of the rice paddies. The air smelled of fish and wet earth and something else. Something sweet, something rotting. Incense. Every house along the dirt road had lit sticks of incense in front of their gates. The smoke curled upward in thin grey ribbons, twisting together, forming shapes that almost looked like faces before the evening breeze pulled them apart. I walked past altars piled with offerings, bowls of rice, roasted chickens, oranges, and sticks of sugarcane. Paper money burned in small clay pots. The ashes swirled in the dying light like dark snow. No one was outside. The village was silent. No children playing. No old men smoking and talking. No women calling to each other from the doorways. Just incense smoke. Just closed doors. Just the distant sound of the river flowing somewhere beyond the bamboo. I reached my grandmother's house at the edge of the village. It was smaller than I remembered. The thatched roof sagged. The wooden walls had grayed, but the lantern was lit, a single oil lamp swinging gently on the porch, casting moving shadows across the steps. My grandmother sat in her chair by the door. She was 84 years old. Her face was a map of wrinkles, her hands like dried roots. But her eyes were the same, black, sharp, seeing things that I could not. You came, she said. Her voice was like dry leaves. You wrote to me. She nodded slowly. Then she lifted a finger and pointed at the river. Your mother is there, in the water. She's been there for 7 years, and tonight she will come home. I felt the temperature drop. Not from the evening, from something else. Grandmother. Mother died. Her boat caught fire. There was nothing left. My grandmother smiled. It was not a kind smile. It was the smile of someone who knew a secret that would break me. The boat burned, she said. But your mother did not burn. She drowned. She tried to swim. The current took her. The fire was a lie. A story we told so you would not search for her. Why? My grandmother looked past me toward the river. The light was almost gone now. The first stars appeared pale and distant. Because the Hungry Ghost Festival is not for the dead, Mai. It is for the thing that hunts them. And your mother knew its name. She knew how to stop it. So she made herself a ghost before the ghost could take her. That night, my grandmother explained the truth. She sat me down at the family altar, a wooden shelf holding photographs of ancestors I had never met, their faces faded, their eyes watching from another time. She lit 3 sticks of incense and placed them in a brass bowl. Then she opened a small wooden box. Inside was a lock of hair, black, long, tied with a red silk thread. Your mother's hair, my grandmother said, cut from her head the night she died. She told me to keep it, to give it to you when you were ready. Ready for what? To finish what she started. She told me about the festival, not the version that children learn, not the version of kind ghosts returning to visit their families, the true version. When the gate opens, she said, not all who come through are lost souls. Most are harmless, hungry, yes, but not evil. They eat the rice. They take the paper money. They return to hell when the month ends. But one does not return. She paused. The incense smoke curled between us. One is older than the gate itself. The first hungry ghost. The one who was never human. The one who was there before the gods closed the door. Every year during the 7th month it wakes and it feeds. Feeds on what? My grandmother looked at the altar, at the photographs, at the faces of our ancestors. On names, she whispered. It finds a family. It learns their names, one by one. And when it knows all the names of the living, it crosses over completely. It takes a body. It sits down at the family table. And no one knows that it is not real, because it has their faces, it has their voices, it has their memories. I felt my heart tighten. Mother, I said, what happened to her? Your mother learned the thing's true name. That is the only weapon. If you know its name, you can send it back. You can close the gate before the month ends, but learning its name requires sacrifice. What kind of sacrifice? My grandmother reached out and took my hand. Her fingers were cold, so cold. The thing must speak the name itself. It must say it out loud, but it will not say it willingly. So someone must make it hungry enough to speak. How? You offer yourself, not your body, yourself, your voice, your memory, your name. You sit at the river on the night of the full moon, and you call to it. You call and you call until it comes. And when it asks your name, you give it. And then, Mai. She squeezed my hand. It will be hungry for more. It will want the names of everyone you love. And if you are strong enough, you can make it say its own name instead. Did Mother do that? My grandmother closed her eyes. Your mother sat at the river. She called the thing. It came. It asked her name. She gave it. And then she hesitated. She heard something in the water. Someone she had lost. Her own mother, my mother. And the thing used that voice. My grandmother opened her eyes. They were wet. Your mother forgot why she was there. She forgot the true name. She forgot everything except the sound of her mother calling her home. And when she stepped into the water, the river took her. Not the thing, the river. She drowned before the thing could take her name. Then the thing is still here. Yes. And it will come again. This year. Tonight. My grandmother nodded. That is why I called you home, Mai. Not to say goodbye to me. To say goodbye to yourself. Because someone must sit at the river. Someone must offer their name. Someone must be strong enough to make it speak. She pressed the lock of hair into my palm. This is all that is left of her. Her name is tied to this hair. If you hold it, you will not forget who you are, even when the thing tries to take your voice, even when it wears your mother's face and calls you by your childhood name. Hold this, and you will remember. I looked at the lock of hair, the red thread, the faded photograph of a woman I had not spoken of in 7 years. "What is the thing's name?" I asked. My grandmother smiled, and for the first time, I saw fear in her eyes. "I cannot tell you. If I speak it here, it will hear. It will come before the moon is full. But you will know it when you hear it. It is the name of something that was never born, that never died, that only waits." The full moon rose at midnight. I walked to the river alone. My grandmother stayed in the house. She had given me her blessing and her warning. Do not look away from the water. Do not answer any voice that calls from behind you. And whatever you do not step into the river. The Mekong was black and wide. Moonlight painted a silver path across the surface, trembling with each ripple. Floating lanterns drifted past, offerings from other villages, paper boats carrying candles and incense, their flames reflected in the water like wandering eyes. I sat on the bank, my feet inches from the water. The lock of my mother's hair was pressed against my heart, tucked inside my shirt. I waited. The insects fell silent first. One by one, the crickets stopped, the frogs stopped, the nightbirds stopped, then the wind stopped. The air became thick and heavy, like breathing through wet cloth. And then, footsteps. Not on the bank, not behind me, on the water. I looked out at the river. The moonlight was still there. The floating lanterns were still there. But something else moved beneath the surface. Something dark, something large. Something that made the water ripple in circles that grew wider and wider. A hand broke the surface, pale, thin, fingers long and wet. Then another hand. Then a head of black hair, slick against a skull that was too narrow, too long, too wrong. The thing rose from the river slowly, like a corpse rising from a grave. But it was not a corpse. Corpses decay. This thing was perfect. It had the face of a woman I did not recognize, beautiful, young, with high cheekbones and full lips and eyes that were not black or brown but empty, like two holes punched into the sky. It stood on the water, not floating, standing, as if the river had turned to stone beneath its feet. "My," it said. Its voice was not one voice. It was many voices, men, women, children, all speaking at once, all whispering the same word. "My, my, my." "I know your name," it said. "I have known it since before you were born. I've been waiting." I did not speak. My grandmother's words echoed in my head. "Do not answer. Do not give it anything it does not ask for." The thing smiled. Its teeth were too white, too many. "Your mother gave me her name. She was brave, but she was afraid. She heard a voice from the water, her mother, my voice wearing her mother. And she forgot. She forgot why she was here. She forgot the name she was supposed to speak. She stepped into the river to embrace a ghost, and the river took her instead. It tilted its head. But you are different. You are not afraid of ghosts. You are afraid of something worse." It took a step forward. The water did not move. "You are afraid of forgetting, of losing the sound of your mother's voice, of waking up one day and realizing you cannot picture her face." I felt tears on my cheeks. I had not cried for my mother in 7 years. "Give me your name," the thing whispered. "Give me your name and I will let you hear her voice. One last time, I will let her say goodbye." Its mouth opened, and from its throat, not its voice, not the chorus of ghosts, but a single voice, a voice I had not heard since I was 19. My daughter, I am here. My mother's voice. Perfect, warm. The same lilt, the same softness, the same way she said my name like it was a prayer. Please, I've missed you so much. Just say your name. Say it once, and I can hold you. My hand moved to my chest. I felt the lock of hair beneath my shirt, the red thread, the memory, and I remembered. I remembered what my grandmother had said. Hold this, and you will remember who you are. I remembered my mother's face, the real face, not the one the thing wore, the way her eyes crinkled when she laughed, the way she hummed old songs while she cooked, the way she looked at me the night before her boat burned. If anything ever happens to me, do not search for me. Do not listen to voices from the water. Do not look at the river when the moon is full. Promise me. I had promised, and now I understood. She had not drowned by accident. She had walked into the river deliberately, not because the thing tricked her, but because she knew she could not make it speak. She could not learn its true name. So she did the only thing she could. She took her name into the water. She made sure the thing could never use it. And now, with her hair pressed against my heart, I had a weapon she did not have. You are not my mother, I said. The thing's smile faltered. My mother died 7 years ago. She died so you could not take her name, and you have been hungry ever since. You have been starving. The thing's eyes darkened. The river began to churn. Give me your name, it hissed. Not a whisper now, a command. No. Then I will take it, it lunged. I do not remember exactly what happened next. I remember the thing's hands around my throat. I remember cold. Not the cold of water, but the cold of emptiness, of a place where nothing has ever lived. I remember the moon spinning above me, silver and distant and indifferent. And I remember the lock of hair. It burned against my skin, hot, bright, like a flame that had been waiting for 7 years to ignite. I pulled it from my shirt. The red thread glowed, and in that moment, I saw her. Not the thing, not the ghost, but my mother, standing behind the thing, her face clear, her eyes warm. She was mouthing something. The name. Say the name. But I did not know the name. My grandmother had not told me. And then I realized the name was not something I could learn. The name was something I had to hear from the thing itself. My mother had not failed. She had done exactly what she needed to do. She had given the thing her name. And then she had drowned before it could ask for anything else. But now the thing was hungry, desperate, and it had called my name. It had shown me its power, but it had not shown me its name. Unless, thank you, I whispered to the thing. It stopped. Its hands loosened. For what? For being hungry. I looked into its empty eyes, and I spoke the words my mother had died to make true. You have my name. You have had it since the moment you said it out loud. But names work both ways, don't they? When you say a name, you give a piece of yourself. And you said my name. You said it 3 times. The thing tried to pull away, but it could not move. Every time you speak a name, you leave a trace, a thread. And my mother, she gave you her name 7 years ago, but she also took something from you. She took the shape of your hunger, the shape of your need. The lock of hair blazed white hot in my hand. Your name, I said, is not a word. It is a feeling. It is the hunger itself, the emptiness, the thing that cannot be filled. The thing opened its mouth to scream, but no sound came out, because I had taken its name, not by speaking it, by naming it, by giving words to what it was. Hunger, emptiness, the ache of something that never was. And when you name a thing, truly name it, you give it a cage. The thing collapsed into the river, not falling, dissolving, like smoke in rain. like a candle being snuffed out. The water swallowed it, and the ripples spread, and then silence. The insects returned, the frogs returned, the wind returned. I sat on the bank shaking, the lock of hair cool against my chest. And in the distance, I heard my mother's voice. One last time. Not from the water, from the air, from the space between heartbeats. Thank you, my daughter. Then nothing. I walked back to my grandmother's house as the moon began to set. She was waiting on the porch. She did not ask what happened. She simply opened her arms and I fell into them, and we sat together until dawn. The next morning, I lit incense at the family altar. I placed the lock of hair beside my mother's photograph, and for the first time in 7 years, I said her name out loud. No shadows stirred, no voices answered. The gate had closed. I stayed in the village for the rest of the Hungry Ghost Festival. I watched the neighbors burn paper money. I watched children float lanterns down the river. I watched the moon wax and wane. And I listened. I listened for the sound of emptiness, for the whisper of hunger, for the thing that might return next year in a different river, wearing a different face. But I heard nothing. Only the water, only the wind, only the quiet breathing of my grandmother, asleep in her chair, dreaming of daughters who had come home. The festival ended, the gate closed, and the dead returned to wherever the dead belong. But I know the truth now. The hungry ghost was never a ghost. It was never dead. It was never alive. It was the hunger inside all of us, the need to be remembered, the fear of being forgotten. And names are not just sounds, they are doors. Open them carefully, because something might be listening on the other side, and it might be hungrier than you can imagine.